Today I'm going to show you how to use Tinkercad to make a super simple NFC tag. So let's get cracking. Alright, so step one was to snag some tags. These are super thin, about the size of a quarter, and I grabbed 50 of them for about $8. I now have the tags in hand, so let's bounce to Tinkercad. We're going to simply hit create new 3D design. Let's start by changing the name. I'm going to call this NFC tag. And as soon as we click, our project's saved. Now, if this is your first time using Tinkercad, I've got a ton of day one tutorials. You can track down the full playlist using this bit.ly. All right, so the tags are about 25 millimeters around. So we're gonna bring out a cylinder. Notice this is 20 by 20. We're gonna do Alt Shift and stretch it to 25 millimeters. That way we've got enough room to stick that in nice and easy after it started printing. We're going to make it 0.5 millimeters thick. I'm going to leave this lined up right here at the 0, mark. And we're going to bring out the sketch tool. Notice I'm setting it in the same 20 by 20 grid. This just helps us when we line it up. I do highly recommend you check out the Sketch Features button. This includes so many awesome techniques that'll help you become better as a Tinkercad designer. Once you click through them, of course, you can always hit the X to close it. If you prefer my tutorials, you can check my full playlist using the bit.ly right here. So this is how we're going to make our sweet little tag. This is the shape that's going to be cut out, and we're going to move down 3 millimeters below it, or 2.5. I'm going to do the same thing over here. I'm going to move past it, 2.5, and then up here, I'm going to go to the next centimeter, and then I'm going to go 3 high. And I'm going out 2.5 past. If you move back, you can see that's going to be 3, and then we're simply going to click to finish it. Now, what's awesome about this is you can double-click this shape, and double-click again, and it auto-smooths. This is going to be our design. You can simply hit Finish Sketch. So with that shape built, I want you to simply click on it and change the height to 2 millimeters. Now if we select everything, choose L for align, make this one the boss, we can bring that hole all the way to the top. Now we want to sink the hole in. Right now if you look, I just clicked on the blue one. I'm trying to click on the hole. We'll know I get it, and I'm going to orbit to a different spot to give me another shot when it actually turns into the hole. Bang! Now I've got that. Now I want to sink it in 0.5, so I'm going to take my nudge, I'm going to make it 0.5, and I'm going to do Control down arrow to sink it in. If we do T for transparent, you can now see that it's inside there, and it's a 0.5 millimeter down from the top. I want to cut a hole for a keychain up here. I'm going to simply bring out a cylinder. I'm going to shift, stretch, or shrink, and I'm going to choose 6 millimeters for that size. I'm going to now grab those two shapes, do L for align, click on the main piece, and we want it to be centered and to the top. If we look at this from the side, I can now use the arrow keys to nudge. 1, 2, and bingo, our part is built. I'm going to grab it all and do Control G to union group. Since it's got transparency on, you can see that shape is there in the middle. Now I want to brand this real quickly, so I'm going to grab an SVG file of mine, import, choose file. There's my HLModTech circle. This relates to my channel. I'm going to just switch to art. Remember, it's about 22 millimeters around, so I'm going to make that the dimensions and choose import. And there is my logo. I'm going to hit W for work plane. Set this on top. Hit D so it drops to that height. Notice I missed. I'm going to do work plane again. Last time I got it inside. Now it's on top. D to drop. I'm going to stretch this out a little larger. Let's do Alt Shift so it goes around the middle. I like that. And then I'm going to set the height of this to 0.3 and press enter. I'm also going to make it red just because that looks way more cool. Since it's a YouTube logo, I'm going to click on my main shape and I'm going to make it white. And I'm also going to shut off transparency. W for work plane, and that's going to be our tag. I do want to nudge this up a couple clicks just to find the place that looks more centered. And then underneath, I want to put the word NFC Tag. I want to add that text with fancy text. I've got some I've stored in your creations. If you haven't seen these tutorials, it's right here. I give you a ton of awesome fonts that you can add and put to use at any time. This is the Peppa Pig font. When I ungroup it, I can change the name. I'm just going to let people know that this is an NFC tag and press enter. Now I can shift squeeze to get that to the right size. Make sure that it's going to fit on the back of this. I could make it a little longer if I want. I am going to make it a hole. I'm going to set the thickness to 0.3 because I just wanted to cut in a little bit. And then if we look underneath, that's going to be backwards. So we need to use the mirror tool to flip it. Bang! NFC tag. Now I can grab it all and do Control G to union group. I do like multicolor to be visible, even though it doesn't work on the STL, but you can see that's going to look pretty sweet. And let's hit export for 3D printing. I'm going to do a single STL, and I'm going to save it as NFC tag. I am adding a 2 because I've done this more than once. Now we can bounce to Bamboo Lab Studio. I'm going to create a brand new project. Let's hit add and let's find NFC tag 2. When we bring this in, I'm going to start by zooming in, taking a peek at it from every angle. You can see there's our words underneath. I'm going to right click and change this to the color white. That's what I want my tag to be. And then we're going to paint with the awesome paint tool. I've got the paint bucket set to red, and I want to paint by height range. I'm going to do 0.2 or 0.3 millimeters actually, because that's how thick we made this text. And with that height range, I'm simply going to get as close as I can to the bottom of the Y and paint all the way up. Bang! Just like that, we've got our NFC tag. I'm going to do 0.2 standard settings. Let's hit slice plate. Now here comes the most important part of this project. We've got to pause so we can put the part in. Once I drag it down, we can right click and simply put an add pause. This lets it stop while it's 3D printing so we can put the sticker inside it before it finishes. One more time, I have to hit slice plate. Of course, you can see there what it's going to look like partially done, and then up here you'll see finished. Notice it's 14.5 minutes. Let's hit print plate and send it for 3D printing. All right, so before we stick this in the print, we need to get a tool to write to them. If you type NFC tools, it is a 100% free app. You can see I've already found it. Do make sure you find the one that is Wake Dev. That's the best one as far as I'm concerned. Once you've got it, simply hit open. We are going to write. I have already typed in mine, so I'm adding a record, and I've got a bit.ly that helps you go to my channel and sub. So I'm just going to add that. I'm going to choose to write it. I simply have to put this close to the design. And bingo, you can see it has just been written, and when I get it close, it says, hey, I'm going to open it in Safari. Now, I do want to back out of here because I want to lock this. They can be rewritten again and again. I don't want somebody else to change my tag. So I'm going to go back to Other, Lock Tag, hit OK, and bingo. That time it worked in an instant. So now this tag, if anybody ever gets close to it, is going to go to my channel, which will help users subscribe. All right, and here we are, printer paused. Notice the hot end is out of the way. We can simply grab our sticker, peel it off, and put it down inside. Bang, just like that. Now on my display, I'm going to simply move over and get to the play button so I can restart the print. Note the printer is reheating and getting ready, and then bang, there it goes. All right, we're back. Let's see what we made. All right, HLModTech, YouTube, NFC tag on the back. Of course, grabbed a spare phone. Let's wake it up. And are you ready? Here we go. Bingo. YouTube channel found. How cool is that? Wrapping up quickly, I want to say thank you very much to Sean for the question. Love these sorts of projects. NFC tags are super slick. If you do a Google search of possible uses, it is fantastic to see all the cool ways you can make your prints interact with people's phones. Of course, if you have a cool use of an NFC tag, I would love to hear it in the comments down below. Finally, I do want to say thank you to everybody that supports me via YouTube memberships. Don't forget there are 3 levels of support starting as low as $5 a month. With any level of support, you get early access to videos. Also, make sure you pay attention for those members only posts. A massive shout out as well to everybody that supports me via Patreon. Love how that group is growing. We're way past 500 members. It has a fantastic free messaging area where you can ask questions, post designs, gain skills. Of course, you can learn more with the bit.ly up above or the link in the description. Finally, friends, I want to thank you for watching. Don't forget every time you like, hype, share a video, add a comment down below, or click subscribe. You're helping HLModTech get just a little bigger, which absolutely makes my day. Friends, have a glorious day, and keep tinkering.